overturn Biden's win and give it to him. And you have some reporting on the fact that at the same time that was going on, other people on the phone call were texting each other. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. First, let's just say 11,780 is a very precise number for someone to come up with. So we took a look at the Meadows text logs, the messages. On January 2nd, there is a call between Jordan Fuchs, who is the Deputy Secretary of State to Brad Raffensperger in Georgia. Remember, these are all Republicans. And he's on the call, and he is texting Mark Meadows in the middle of the call, and he says, need to end this call. I don't think this will be productive much longer. Meadows, okay. Jordan, let's save the relationship. Thank you. Wow. Wow is right. They knew what was going on in that call. There was no question. That's in real time.
And Abby, when Trump said before the election, bad things happen in Philadelphia, there was obviously a suggestion he was making about Philadelphia, where he actually ended up doing better in 2020 than he did in 2016, than in the more predominantly white suburbs of Philadelphia, where he ended up doing worse. And President Trump's critics and observers who have eyes have also noted that he pointed out, Trump specifically, that the election fraud in Georgia that is bogus, that did not happen. He named names of black election workers. I want to play a little bit. This is from the conversation between Trump and Raffensperger.
She's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer and hustler. Ruby Freeman, it's been reported that they said there was a major water main break. Everybody fled the area, and then they came back. Ruby Freeman, her daughter, and a few people. There was no Republican poll watchers. Brad, why did they put the votes in 3 times? You know, they put them in 3 times.
They did not put that. We did an audit of that, and it was proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times. And I think it's extremely unfortunate that Rudy Giuliani or his people, they sliced and diced that video and took it out of context.
First of all, the language calling Ruby Freeman a hustler, something out of 1970s, All in the Family. But second of all, the daughter that they mentioned, Wandrea Shamos, she'll be testifying tonight.
Exactly.
There is a racial overtone to this.
100%. The places that Trump was fixated on, where he believed or wanted his supporters to believe with absolutely no evidence where there was fraud, were places where there were a lot of black and non-white voters. Urban areas, cities, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Fulton County, Georgia, includes part of the Atlanta area. It is a county that is about 40-something% black. This is a place that Trump knew it would be easy to convince people in his camp that there was something nefarious going on, even though there was no evidence. And there is a racial element to this. He not only named names, but they sent out the video showing, Ruby Freeman and her daughter, and that video was not what Trump said it was, but the results were racist attacks, death threats to these 2 women, and the people who ended up at the Capitol on January 6th, many of them white supremacists carrying Confederate flags, they were also motivated by racism and all of this too. So that, I think, is an undercurrent of the hearing today. Why Georgia? Well, Georgia was a place that Trump thought it was easy to convince people that there was something wrong going on, because how could it be that all of these black people would end up voting for Joe Biden?
And John King, again, the quote is, I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is 1 more than we have because we won the state. It's incredible to me that so many Republicans are still sticking with the president who was shaking down the Secretary of State for the state's electoral.
And that's why the testimony today from these loyal Republicans is so important. You're going to hear the Arizona House Speaker saying, I followed my oath and I followed the Constitution. You're going to have Brad Raffensperger say, I followed my oath and I followed the Constitution. They followed math, they followed truth, they followed the process, which allowed recounts, which allowed audits, which allowed lawsuits. They did everything they could. Brad Raffensperger voted for Trump. Rusty Bowers voted for Trump. And so can you break through with the idea that Trump's allies say, oh, he was just venting. You know, he was upset that he might have lost the election. He's just venting. No. What the committee is going to lay out, and what they've done a pretty good job, a very good job so far laying out, is a coordinated, consistent conspiracy. You lose in this front, you find another one. They don't believe this information, you create some more. You splice a video. Who committed the fraud? Who committed the fraud? It was not the voters. It was Trump and his team splicing videos, spreading misinformation. And just look at this week. For those out there who say, this is in the rearview mirror, we don't need to think about this anymore, look at what happened to the Texas Republican Party this week. They passed a platform that says acting President Joe Biden. Look what happened in Missouri. A candidate for the United States Senate put out a video saying that it is acceptable to shoot rhinos, to kill rhinos, Republicans in name only. So the violence on January 6th, the fraud from Election Day through January 6th, is still a clear and present danger, as Judge Ludick said last week in the Republican Party. It's just a fact.
The hearing begins less than an hour from now. You will see it here live coming up next.